You are watching this video because you might be interested in learning NLP or maybe becoming even an NLP certified practitioner. And I congratulate you on this decision because NLP is a fantastic tool. But what you might want to know is that there are many different boards existing in NLP, many different philosophies existing in NLP. NLP is not just one methodology that every trainer around the world is teaching the same thing, representing the same board philosophy. In order to understand how it happened that there are different philosophies, different thinking styles in NLP, we actually have to go back in time to the root of NLP before it broke up into different interest groups. So I'm inviting you to follow me into this exciting part of NLP.
Now, there's actually an easy sequence to understanding the history of NLP, because it starts all off with actually two people who were very close initially to each other. A guy called Richard Bandler, one of the most famous people still in NLP, and a guy called Frank Pitchlick. Frank Pitchlick has his own history and he disappeared after a while from NLP because he was asked to leave. Now Frank and Richard started to work together, and at a later stage they were joined by an associate professor of linguistics called John Grinder. But these were of course not the only people engaged in NLP initially. There were many more people really engaged and experimented in NLP. It was in the University of Santa Cruz, California in the 1970s. Lots of experiments going on. Couldn't be done only with 3 people. So the other people are really involved were a lady called Leslie Cameron, Stephen Gilligan, Steve Andreas, Judy Delossier, Robert Dills, and at a later stage they were joined by a guy you most likely know called Anthony Robbins. Then came also Ted James, my own personal Sifu, and the lady by the name of Shelley Rose Charvet, another teacher of mine. So NLP was formed by many people that were involved in the creation of many of those tools that create excellence. The name NLP actually was only introduced in 1975. Before that, NLP was just called Meta. Now in 1976, John Grinder and Richard Bandler, Frank at that point of time left already, so John and Richard left the university and began to run workshops in NLP. NLP was the craze in the 1970s. And because it became so big, different philosophies on how to move that beautiful methodology forward, different philosophies emerged, which ultimately in 1981 led to the breakup of the core group of NLPers. Now already at that point of time, Richard and John had some conflicts with each other. So Richard Bandler formed his own first organization called Not Limited, while John Grinder developed something which is called New Code NLP. Somewhere around 1981, Richard Bandler also sued John Grinder, and somehow they divided the territory in the US of who is training where and when. Now apparently, according to sources available to me, John never quite followed through on this agreement and just trained anywhere he wanted. So this 10 years contract was never quite enforced. Richard realized this in the 1990s and started to initiate lawsuits against John Grinder and 200 other individuals, amongst them Anthony Robbins, and he sought damages of $10 million from each individual, which nearly led to the downfall of NLP in the US. While I have created another video around this one earlier, somewhere between 1997 and 2000, some groups initiated civil proceedings against Richard Bandler, saying that NLP is not trademarked. And they won the lawsuit. NLP is not trademarked. But the overall result of this breakup were different philosophies in NLP. NLP is a root of everything, but there are many different boards around, as you can see here. So Richard Bandler's Not Limited ultimately became the Society of NLP, while John Grinder's New Code NLP developed in ITA NLP. Anthony Robbins, after the lawsuit, created his own school of thinking called Neuro Association Conditioning. Robert Dills, who never quite believed in boards, still trains in the NLP University in California, and he believes that NLP is to create a world where people want to belong to it. It's his philosophy. Then we of course got Michael Hall in the 1990s, who tries to revamp the whole of NLP. And he calls it now NSNLP and created a board called International Society of Neurosemantics. Along the line we also have Will Horton, who created the National Federation of NLP. And then somewhere in the 1990s, Ted James created the American Board of Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and also somewhere in the 1990s, Shelley Rose Chavez didn't quite create a board, but she started to promote the language and behavior profile, words that change minds, which is a tool derived from the so-called meta programs of NLP. So the result is that you have many different people in NLP representing different boards, and you, interested in NLP, need to decide whose philosophy, whose training, whose methodology you would like to join. So this is Andreas here from Asia Mind Dynamics. And if you have a question regarding NLP or the different boards of NLP or the philosophies of NLP, just feel free to contact me and I'm more than happy to respond back to you.